Hey, Greg, I wanted to call you. Hey, what's going on? I see Kramer in the background. You're watching your favorite show again there? What's going on?
I fucking love Mad Money. I'm going to get a Cream America cup. And I'm going to get one of those little gem bobblehead things and the whole fucking thing. I'm telling you, I am all about Kramer. I'm doing my next video that is not an interview format, is on Kramer, I will admit. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to talk about the Charitable Remainder Trust. And I'm going to put my Charitable Remainder Trust right next to Jim's, because I have a Charitable Remainder Trust. And I'm going to explain to people what that means.
All right. Well, we will look forward to...
I'm celebrating the other thing that you just brought up.
So I called you to wish you a happy birthday. Not your birthday, but your friend Warren Buffett's birthday today, which you didn't know. It's August 30th, 2011, and let's wish Uncle Warren happy 81st today.
Absolutely. I would sing him a song, but anybody that's heard me sing would defer against such advice. But I need him to live a couple more years, at least. I mean, I hope he lives to be 100. Because, I can't wait to see him eating dog food, living in a car somewhere. Just like Kramer used to live in a car. Everybody, I've gotten the most scathing things in Scope Labs about my Warren Buffett videos. I started one that I haven't finished. I got like halfway done.
All right.
And everybody just attacks me like I hate rich people or something. I mean, I love rich people. I think they're great. I love the way I live when I'm with them. I think that's from The Sound of Music, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think Max Detweiler on the back porch or something.
Yeah,
but
that's right. My kids just did that
I
at
love
school.
rich people, and I love the way I live when I'm with them. But, Kramer, he's made 10 times more money than me, too. But, I'd like to discuss there's rich people that are good rich people, and there's rich people that are bad rich people. You have Michael Milken, who went to jail for insider trading, who's a good rich person. He's given away more money than Warren Buffett's ever thought of. You have Michael Steinhardt, who's a good rich person. There's all kinds of good rich people. Warren Buffett just isn't one of them. He's like a vulture. He's out preying on America. And then he also gives people such bad advice. He's just an absolute shill for this, proven to be wrong, buy and hold premise. I mean, he hasn't made money now, essentially, really, in a decade that hasn't been off of some sort of a scam, some sort of a high, a usurious loan to Goldman Sachs or some sort of government-backed. I mean, none of us, hey, look, I'll bail out Bank of America at the same deal he bailed out Bank of America. If the government's going to back me up and I don't have to post any margin, sure. I mean, they're all such sweetheart deals. They just have his stamp on them. I mean, the guy's never posted margin on $63 billion worth of derivatives.
When was the last time he bought something, really doing his homework without a sweetheart deal like that?
Well, it's not even a function. He lies there about his homework. I mean, when we go to Moody's and we look at the congressional hearing that he was subpoenaed for, they asked him to talk. No, I don't want to talk. Well, they had a subpoena, Warren Buffett, everybody's hero. All the Warren worshipers out there understand this guy got forced into call. And he said he couldn't pick the CEO out of a lineup. One of his, sage wisdoms is to understand the company, to understand their business model, to know everything about them. He'd never been there. He didn't know where they were located. He didn't know who ran the company. And he got barbecued for billions of dollars on the deal. The guy is absolute, just fraud. I mean, he bought Coca-Cola, right? Okay, we get it. His Wells Fargo deal is, and everybody goes, well, you're not as rich as Warren Buffett, so you're talking bad about Warren. You know what? I've lived my life. I mean, he did live like a pauper for a long time. He doesn't live like a pauper. Now he lives in a mansion in Laguna Beach, and he has jets and private security, and, let's be realistic. But he lived actually really crappy as a billionaire. I mean, I was living in a $6 million house driving around. I had 10 cars. Tons of live-in help. I lived like a rock star during the, 80s, 90s, 2000s. And this guy lived like a peasant. So, I have absolutely no respect for that either. Go spend some money, employ some people, be good to your health. again, I deplore him on everything he's ever done. He's tortured his I think his granddaughter like sweeps floors or something. She's like an artist and a janitor. I mean, when you're married, when you get to be the lucky sperm club, when you're born into that family, you get the birthright. You don't get shut down. I mean, they all get like $100,000 for education and a kick in the ass. I mean, this guy is absolute debris. If you're not good to your kids, you're not good to anybody. I mean, your kids and your grandkids. I just hate him so much. I just hate him. I mean, I want him to live. I want him to live because he's still got a chance to go broke. I think,
So, Greg, you say this in all seriousness. So tell us how.
I'm dead serious. I hate him.
No, but you say this. You say that he could go broke. How would that play out? How would that happen? Do you think?
He has as much derivative exposure as he has net worth, and so $63 billion of naked S&P puts. That if the market, I don't really want the market to crash and ruin everybody. For the greater good, I hope he doesn't go broke. But, in 2009, I know people that are, in the know on the derivative side, and he was on wobbly pens. He was going to have to start posting margin. You were going to start seeing, 10 million share blocks of Coca-Cola start going by as he needed to start posting margin. When he doesn't have to play by the rules and he's the 5th largest TARP recipient, he does these things. Well, somebody attacked me on one of my Warren videos and said, "Oh, Sir Warren Buffett, you shouldn't be talking about him. He's so wonderful." Everybody he's like the Doyle Brunson of the stock market. Everybody thinks, "Oh, Texas Dolly, nice old man with a hat." That guy's had so many people killed in the back of cars and shit. I'm into the shady deals. I mean, come on. He's not a nice man. He's a killer. I mean, maybe he hasn't killed anybody. He's not a nice guy, though. He's not the cheerful old, patriarch of poker. He's a tough old guy.
Right. So again, you're using the Warren Buffett v. Doyle Brunson. I'm with you. So he's got, he's too big to fail. He's number 5 on the TARP list. Has he sold all that TARP benefited product yet?
I mean, he got unwound on his own, didn't he? I mean, Goldman Sachs paid back the money.
That's what I'm saying. So he's out.
I think Citi. So I mean, he ended up netting out. The taxpayers on the government-led deals did about a third as well, but we all made money on these TARP funds, but nobody sees any of the money because it all got filtered off, and who knows what's happening with Europe. And if you watch any of the Ben Bernanke speeches about the open market committee stuff, I mean, nobody even knows anything. I mean, if you watch the Inspector General, the Fed, nobody can even keep track of where any of this money goes. I mean, that's a completely different subject. Is that the Fed being all powerful without having any real checks and balances. Is a completely separate problem. But I mean, to all the Warren people that love this guy, please just come to me with refutable things. Don't everybody attacks me personally. I like Jim Simons, George Soros is supposed to be this communist guy. He's a great trader. I mean, I'm not 80 years old either, and my whole life's mission wasn't to get every dollar I could. I'm not competing with Warren Buffett. So everybody attacks me on a personal level. What I'm saying is evaluate empirically the person that you're worshiping. This man is a bad person. He screwed his own family. He takes advantage of distress situations that are, for our country in terms of stepping up to the plate in these, deals. And he takes us to the cleaners and the taxpayers. Everything he does is some sort of a self-serving scam. And everybody says that it's also great that he gave his money to charity. At what cost? I mean, what kind of tax savings? I mean, he just pulled off another tax scam. I mean, this money will go to perpetuity.
Why?
I mean, it won't be.
Why do you think that is, Greg? Why do you think it is that all the thousands of books get written by him? The pilgrimage happens every year to Omaha. Because I think there's enough empirical evidence out there to have a counter case that you're putting together. I agree with you. But why is it that nobody? Is it because he had the long-term relationship with the Washington Post editor? Is it because, does he, why is it that these guys, aren't, they're revisionists when it comes to history, and that's what the biggest, baddest, nastiest politicians, business folks tend to do. Why do you think? Why is it that you think the public continues to buy into it?
I think you probably just hit the nail on the head. I think he has so much positive press. I mean, we've created this media machine. I mean, Michael Steinhardt, came out and blasted him on CNBC. Anybody that hasn't seen that should watch it. Yeah. And when he went and gave away all his money in one day, thoughtlessly, as Steinhardt said, he gave away all his money in one day to charity thoughtlessly. And so, look, I have, in all seriousness, I have to give away, 5% of the charitable remainder trust, which is something I'm going to talk about with Kramer, who's in the background or was. I mean, I have to give away 5%. I give it thought. I mean, to me, I figure if somebody's hungry somewhere, somebody's not doing their job. So the money that I have the privilege of giving away based on our tax structure in this country, that you're able to, I have $1 million in a charitable remainder trust. I get to give away $50,000 a year to charity. I get to. And I do it thoughtfully. Make sure that, starving children get food. And I don't put my name on it, and I don't take any big credit for it, and I don't want anybody sending me nothing. I just, if somebody's hungry, I miss a meal and I'm upset. So if somebody's actually really hungry and I can give them food, Russian, Burmese, orphanages, I make sure my charitable dollars get to a legitimate source. So, it's appalling what this guy did.
Have you read the book Unbroken?
No.
Laura Hillenbrand, she wrote, I believe, Seabiscuit also.
I love Seabiscuit. No.
Yeah, so she wrote that book.
She wrote Seabiscuit.
So this story is about, a guy that grew up, during the Depression, Italian immigrant family, Louis, and he ends up being, the world record miler in the early 30s, runs in, the Berlin games with Hitler there. And the whole thing. Then he ends up, a bombardier in World War II. His plane gets shot down floating in the Pacific Ocean for 49 days. Then he's captured by it's a fantastic read. You gotta read it.
Well, no, it sounds like hold on a second. It sounds like my kind of thing. So I like that book, Endurance.
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is, it's interesting when you think about today being Warren's birthday, 81 years old. So that puts him born in 1930. So he was too young to go to World War II. And, was definitely born in the sweet spot, so to speak, for everything that's happened, kind of on the big picture that we're talking about. He was, took some chances, had that first hedge fund in the, 50s, 60s, whenever it was. I don't know the full timeline. I'm not a Warren aficionado by any means. But, right time, right place, little luck, yada, yada.
Well, I think what's his name? Malcolm Gladwell, who's brilliant author on statistical stuff, and Levitt and Dubner, or one of those guys that does all this, neuroeconomics, brought up the fact that if you just line up enough people through sheer randomness, somebody's going to end up picking right enough times. I mean, Warren Buffett is an absolute outlier. I mean, is it all pure luck? Does he have any skills? Did he have tenacity? Did he work hard? I don't want to take away anything that he's done righteously. The stuff that I have trouble with is this worship of somebody who's actually not a very good person.
Yeah, and what we're talking
about... Michael Milken is a great person. Michael Milken is a great guy. I've met him. He's a great guy. Yeah.
I think what we're talking about here is, kind of the way that, both, if we want to compare Milliken to Buffett, both of them kind of got to where they got, but, Buffett kind of chose a different path once he got there, which was to hold on and kind of use the rules and bend them towards his, he's not buying things the way he bought back in the 50s and 60s and taking a stab on a Dairy Queen and things like that. He's not doing those types of things anymore. He's taking big stakes in big publicly traded companies that are completely, there's no risk, as we've talked about. Everybody knows it. So yes, I'd take that trade too. Like you said, I'd put up no money and be guaranteed return. Great. I'm a big hero. But
I mean, the guy, if he's running $63 billion with no margin right now, just on the derivatives alone, the game is skewed in his favor. That's how long-term capital got in trouble.
Right.
They become so big that they're able to just sign a waiver and, here's a credit line and trust me, look at who I am. And he's just living off of a reputation really, I mean, for a decade, he hasn't beat 30-year bonds for over a decade. 30-year bonds have stomped him into oblivion. Gold has beat him now for, maybe a decade. Yeah. I'm not sure of the exact numbers. I did a 3-year chart a bit back. I posted it on Twitter just a couple days ago. But, the bottom line is, again, I get these detractors that want to defend him with such vehemence. I'm equally upset about, it really is troublesome to me that these people attack me for pointing out the truth. When I did Warren Buffett Facts, I didn't even get that much into, how he screws his, family. I didn't get that much into it. I just wanted to point out the facts is that, it's not really that impressive. He's done very few trades. There's very few data points. If you go to Jim Simons at Renaissance, who, up until Paulson's scam deal, who I think is a one-hit wonder. See, I don't like Paulson either. You're
talking John Paulson here.
No, I like Hank Paulson. He's a really nice man. Everything's fine about Hank. I'm afraid of Hank. But, John Paulson was a bit of a one-hit wonder. And, he put together those default packages with Goldman. The stuff that he made his money on was almost self-manufactured. It's pretty shady looking. And now when he's left to his own devices, he blows up himself. He is in the middle of a blow-up. And that's my trouble with Buffett, too, is the guy had no risk management. I have people that try to argue this point with me. If you lose half your money in 44 days as a trader, you're done. That's it. There's nothing else to say. It's irredeemable. You don't come back from that unless you have TARP funds. If you have TARP funds, I can go leverage up as well as anybody. I would be richer than Warren Buffett by far in 24 months if they let me have $63 billion that I don't have to post and let me go trade. I will beat his brains in. I'll be able to write a check for his entire net worth inside of 24 months if you give me the same, leverage. I'm talking about open leverage. Give me $63 billion to go monkey around with, and he won't be able to, he won't be able to shine my shoes.
Quite frankly, that's Nick Leeson type numbers of, give me a 999 account to put all my losers in, and I'll be right with you.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be as good as anyone else. It's like its own survivorship bias. So, like I said, I hope Warren is as healthy as a horse and he lives another 3 or 5 years, because I think, his investment model went out the door in 1999, like I've always said with Glass-Steagall. If investing still worked, Warren Buffett's ideas would still work. He became a dinosaur in 1999, and he hasn't made money in any impressive way since. Everything he's done since Glass-Steagall ended, which just goes back again to, the Summers guy and things of that nature. We have a few villains in this world, and the villains are, Nixon, for taking us off the gold standard, Greenspan for expanding the Fed's power, and Summers for taking away, and I guess Clinton, I don't know Bob Rubin is one of the great villains of all time. And you take these people and they ruined everybody's potential to invest. It would be a cool thing. Wall Street capitalism. If we could go buy companies and all this racetrack tout crap that goes on were real. If it wasn't all just smoke and mirrors and the books were right and you could go try to outthink the next guy and everybody could invest, that would be great. If we weren't so over-leveraged, interest rates would be at a reasonable number. So you'd have a choice of equities versus fixed income, and how do you package your portfolio, and the 80 million baby boomers would be getting, 8 or 10%, and everybody be retiring and living good, and, we would live in an entirely different world if you pull like 4 or 5 villains out of the equation. But
and I would say that, you know, the poor retired population that's only going to get bigger would actually be able to, you know, live for a while here too.
All this expansion that we've had in longevity is going to come to a halt.
Yeah.
As people can't eat. I mean, we're going to have a global decline in standard of living because of a handful of greedy people.
Dr. Evil, Bob Rubin, and Warren Buffett are all in the room together along with Adolf Hitler. Let's throw him in there.
I mean, they're all there. It's just they're fiddling or whatever while the place is burning down, and it's really appalling, and nobody cares. I mean, you know, maybe these Tea Party people, I don't know what they're up to, but I don't see any political force that can go against this handful of power. I mean, you know, it's a very despicable situation.
It is. I go back to one of my favorite characters, Peter Sellers played in Being there, Chauncey Gardner. Chauncey Gardner knows more than the puppets, you know, that are being controlled right now by the.
That's a really apropos movie to describe what's going on. You could just, you know, I make a joke. I can run the entire country just in my spare time, you know, while I'm hitting a heavy bag or jumping rope. I could do it on a cell phone and do a better job than what happens with this, you know, layers of bureaucracy. I guess there has to be fighting in the streets before anybody pays attention.
Yeah, so let's leave it at that. Happy birthday to Mr. Buffett.
Happy birthday, Warren. You know, all my Warren detractors, go ahead, send me another note, but why don't you put something of substance in there?
Yeah, send some backing. Happy to look at it, and Greg and I will continue.
Any refutable evidence would be great.
Greg and I will continue
attacking our hero personally.
Frank discussions about this, that, and the other thing. Happy birthday, Mr. Buffett, and another couple decades to you.
I hope he can live long enough so he goes broke.